And welcome into the Huntsman Center, Dusty Lister, Dane Stewart, and the head coach of the Farmington Phoenix, Coach Casey Walkenhurst with you. Not only that, the former coach of the Woods Cross Wildcats, got Woods Cross versus Murray. Coach, your old team, they're rolling along, and they got a fun player to watch. Yeah, Mason's a really good player. You know, we played against him last year, and he was solid, but he's gone to a whole new level this year. The way he gets into the lane, and he plays off of 2 feet. I try to get all my guys and young guys watch him. He plays off of 2 feet, and he's so much stronger when he gets into the lane doing that. He shoots what some might call low percentage shots, but he works on them, and he's been shooting the lights out this tournament. And Dane, for Murray, this is going to be a track meet.
Yeah, buckle up. It all starts with Chudi, right? Anosike, one of the top rebounders in 5A, also one of the top scorers. And then for me, the guy to keep an eye on is Bowen Davies. This guy's a shot blocker like you haven't seen in a long time. Against Springville, 6-7 blocks. Even in their quarterfinal win, he was all over on the defensive end. I love the hustle he brings, and they've got good outside shooters too with Jackson Workman. Trammell can drive the lane. A lot of talk about Chudi and Anosike, but this is a really complete roster for the Spartans. Now, some of my stuff's been off a little bit. The last 3 coaches of Woods Cross have all made the semifinals. Walkenhurst, Jorgensen, Margits. Yeah. Woods Cross is a great school. They're good always, and this won't be the last time you see Woods Cross in this game. They got a chance to come back next year, I think, as well. Ready to jump it up, Nick Hogan and Davies, and we'll start first with the Murray Spartans. First semifinal since 2011. As Jackson Workman comes off the screen, Chudi Anosike. And you can feel the energy. The ball's a little hot off the hand. It'll be interesting to see how the Wildcats guard him. He's a volume shooter for sure. Edinger, it's hard to think he could have a better game than he did on Monday. And how about this one? Jackson Smith for 3. I love that kid. I love Jackson Smith, a junior just like Mason, but he can dial it up with the best of them. 3 off the mark. Davies knocks it out of bounds, and we're going back to Woods Cross. Coach, what's it like the opening minutes of the semifinal? Are you trying to keep you guys calm? Hey, we're going to ride the energy a little bit and get it out. For sure, especially when you get that first shot to go in, everything kind of calms down, not only for the players but the coach as well. We get a little amped up as well. Good student section for Woods Cross. Yes. Way to bring it. And off the steal, here comes Chudi Anosike. Delaying on his hip, and Chudi able to finish it. If you haven't watched Chudi Anosike, first of all, I'm sorry. Secondly, you're really going to enjoy watching number 3 tonight. Jackson Smith, wide on the 3. You know, being in 6A now, I haven't had a chance to watch Murray this year, but I've heard nothing but good things about Chudi and his ability to score the ball. And it's not just Chudi. There's guys all over the place. There's Tayshawn Trammell, 4-3. I'll tell you this, Coach. I did the second-round game, a win over Springville. Nadal scored 50 for the Red Devils in a losing effort. That tells you what you need to know about Murray. They are really, really good. Yes, definitely. Loose ball picked up by Davies on the run. I think the more up-tempo this game is, it probably favors Murray because they definitely like to get up and down. Trammell gets inside. Oh, and the reverse wouldn't drop. Now on the run with Smith. Unfortunate there. Look, you can't just rely on bodying a guy. This is a more athletic team than they get credit for. Trammell was able to work that edge way too easily. So foul will go to Tayshawn Trammell. Number 1 on Tayshawn. Smith will inbound. Mason Bedinger, 4-3. He has been locked in this tournament. Like that guy has been phenomenal. Yeah, if Murray's gonna let him catch and shoot all night, it's gonna be a good night for him. So back down the floor with the Murray Spartans. Hooks goes inside of Chudi. And then backside delaying with the rip. Davies gives chase. And out pass all to that shot. Davies blocked 7 shots on Monday. I think that might have been in Delange's mind a little bit going up for that layup. Outside with Hooks. Send back up to Workman. They'll reset the offense. And how about Jason? 2 games, 2 different kicks. Going to black and orange today. with some black and white J's on Mondays. That ball goes out of bounds.
I like Chudi's shoes. He's really repping the fluorescence tonight.
How much does that change, from you played and then started coaching and then now?
It was all black and white shoes when I was playing.
Coach Briggs is only going black and white?
Oh, yeah. My junior year, we wore all black, and it was maybe the weirdest thing that's ever happened in West Jordan Jaguar history. We basically had to beg him for those black shoes.
Stole from behind. Hogan sends ahead to Bettinger. Mason, stop, and hits.
Mason Bettinger on the year was just 24% from 3, according to stats reported. In the playoffs, he's been like 40 plus. Young man's been locked in.
He was 14 of 19 on Monday, 2 for 2 from deep. As Workman short on the 3. Hogan, hands off Bettinger, off of 2 feet, and it crawls in. The wide channel basketball treats him well.
On balance, when you get in that lane, you play off of 2 feet. It helps with everything.
Timeout. Coach Workman, just a 30-second timeout. We'll see if they go media. We'll wait just for 1 second here. Timeout for 30 seconds. We'll keep it here. And what a start for Woods Cross, Coach.
Yeah, they're a confident group of kids right now from top to bottom.
You know, there's a very important streak on the line. They have not lost when Dane Stewart's called a Woods Cross game, and they recognize it is holding true that the circumstances are aligned on this whatever night it is night.
It is Wednesday night. As semifinal night used to be Friday. We got a little bit changed, new schedule. Wednesday night, these 5A teams get Thursday, Friday rest days to play on Saturday. I mean, my goodness, you think that would get you out of a rhythm on a championship week? And you change venue, no less.
Yeah, I mean, you go from red to blue. It might change your eye perspective. So, to be honest, I loved playing the Friday, Saturday. You have all that adrenaline after a semifinal game to go play a championship game the next day, and the community and the students kind of have that momentum. So it'll be interesting to see Saturday's attendance.
I do think it certainly benefits Woods Cross. They're accustomed to the red and the blue.
Definitely.
They're going to walk into a bigger building, bigger screens. Well, we'll see how it's lit. I haven't been in there with the new lights, but it's brand new, for heaven's sakes. The lower bowl's all redone. They're at BYU. But,
yeah, I was surprised to see it down there. I don't remember the last time it's been down at Brigham Young.
I was actually messaging someone. 1989 was the year that he remembered. I have some memory, for whatever reason, late 90s, early 2000s of it being at the Marriott Center. I could be totally off on that. Carbon never made it there. But, I mean, I was a sports junkie as a kid, too, and I was in high school then. And I have some memory of it being there. I know the football championship game was played there in 1999. Very similarly, they played semifinals at U. Championship game was there. So, I don't know. It'll be interesting.
Yeah, my childhood was coming up here and going to Weber State, so I don't remember ever being down there.
Yeah, we had the years they wouldn't have it here. We got the East Center when Dane and I started. They rotated the East Center here. We had a shoot with no backdrop whatsoever at the East Center.
That was my senior year. We played at the Maverick Center. It was not a great basketball venue.
Right. Didn't matter to Brett Somerville, however.
No,
against Riverton.
That Riverton Bingham championship game back then was an amazing basketball game.
As Hogan hands back to Bettinger. Mason inside the arc takes the hit from Davies. It'll be 2 free throws.
That's the aspect that, look, as great as Davies is, the top rebounder, one of the top shot blockers, you get him in foul trouble, and all of a sudden things can start to open up for Woods Cross. And, Coach, we didn't talk about it, but Nick Hogan has been really solid inside for Woods Cross this year. The big, wears number 34, but he could be a matchup advantage for the Cats, especially if Davies gets in some foul trouble.
For sure, he's a big, strong kid. His mom's actually the volleyball coach at Woods Cross, and so I've kind of seen him growing up when I was there, and he's gotten to be a really big, strong kid. So yeah, that would be a huge advantage for the Wildcats.
Welcome to the 2-foot jump club, and the reason why, right?
Yes.
Cannot be an outside hitter off of 1 foot, only on the swing. Hey, how about a comp I gave him from your days? Is that three's on the way and wide? Bettinger with the rebound. Of Andrew Jordan, the former big guy from Northridge. You remember Andrew Jordan?
I do. That's a while ago.
It's who he reminds me of. First, I started thinking, like, guys from the past. I'm like, man, he reminds me of Andrew Jordan.
Yes, definitely.
We got to find somebody to get that film. I'm going to make some phone calls. Bettinger working on Anosike, hands back to DeLange. DeLange, left-hand floater, stays in.
You know, talking to the assistant coach at Woods Cross, Jeff Johnson, who's a good friend of mine, and I'll speak about him a little bit later and his connection with Murray and his days up here at the U. But he told me that DeLange is the X factor for the Wildcats. When he is their kind of their third scorer, the Wildcats are hard to beat.
Of course, Jeff has that three on the way from Smith is good. How about the first half for Woods Cross?
Dusty, you said people would enjoy watching number 3. You didn't specify from which team. Jackson off to a strong start.
Kid can shoot the ball.
Inside of Davies, take the bump. Yeah, that's a good call on the block. But Davies at the line. Should be able to take charge under the hoop anyway, but he was definitely not there in time, and Davies goes to the line.
I wonder if it affects our high school officials to actually have the arc, if it changes their calls when they play at venues like this.
There's an official answer, and then there's the answer that may be actually true.
And we will never know.
They say, no, you call it the way it is. I can say this from the last 2 days. Many don't look at it. I would say, use it as an advantage. Too far underneath the hoop. Don't
Absolutely.
give him the foul.
It's frustrating
Casey's joining us for the rest of the week.
when a kid takes a charge and he's standing on the basket. It's so frustrating, but I understand it's a tough call to make sometimes, but that arc is a big help, I think.
According to the rule, there is no restrictions, and I call that the Region 1 charge. There's one a game.
For sure.
As back down the floor, the hot shooting of Woods Cross building a 9-point lead. Alex Bray, I don't remember seeing Bray on the floor on Monday.
Yeah, he did. He had limited minutes. He's played a lot more for Woods Cross than he did on Monday, but I love his energy off the bench. He's a real workman for Woods Cross.
And outside with Bray.
This tempo is definitely going to be favoring the Wildcats right now.
Well, that's the thing, right? Murray wants to get out and run, and Casey, I say this all the time, the only way that Murray gets a team into the game they want to play, you got to make them take the ball out of the net. And if you're not doing that, you can't get there.
Absolutely. Yeah, Murray's going to have to hit a couple shots here to get him back into this thing, but it'll be interesting. It was I know all the coaches in the state are super excited about the shot clock being added next year. It's gonna change the game for the right ways.
Absolutely, is off the mark there. Anosike is going to pick up the foul on Bray, and I'll put Chudi at the line for 2 free throws and maybe get him into rhythm, Dane.
Yeah, he had kind of the one breakout, but really he hasn't had a lot of real good looks. In case you talk about a volume shooter, a guy that likes to take a lot of shots. And Woods Cross really done a pretty good job of not allowing him many looks here in this first quarter.
Yeah, they're doing their game plan right now. It'll be interesting to see if Chudi can get going here on his own.
So Charlie Spencer checks in. Bray had a short stint on the floor. Should also mention, as Anosike makes both free throws, Quentin, please don't call me James Wall-Jasper Christman comes on, and James has got to be watching. Another shout out for James Wall-Jasper.
That kid could flat out play.
Yes, he could. There's so many fun guys that played at Murray over the years for Workman. Is Bettinger again inside another bucket. 11 first quarter points for Mason Bettinger.
He can play inside and outside. He is a hard guard for anybody.
I'll say it again. It's why I picked this team as the Region 5 champion. They finished second, but this roster is really, really scary, and I love the way they've gelled over the course of the year.
And there goes Jackson Workman knocking down the three.
Coach Marcus has done a phenomenal job with this group. He got him a little bit later in the spring when Coach Jorgensen decided to call it good, and we played as Farmington. We played him earlier in the spring, and you could tell that there was a little disconnect, but he's really brought this group together, and he's got them playing some good basketball.
Three from Bettinger is short. Davies couldn't get that board initially. Oh, and I think Spencer may have misunderstood. That would have been Woods Cross ball, but Spencer couldn't save it. But if he just let it go out of bounds, the Woods Cross basketball is.
It's going to be a big momentum shot right here for the Spartans.
2 Workman can't get it. Good defense from Woods Cross. And that'll do it for the first quarter. Chudi Anosike had 4, but it was Bettinger with 11 first quarter points. As we in the second quarter is Woods Cross 19, Murray 13. You're watching the 2022 5A semifinals on KSLSports.com. Start of the second quarter and a 6-point lead for Woods Cross. Coach, when you got a team that got flown like Woods Cross did that first quarter, what do you tell the second quarter? Hey, we're just going to keep it going. How do you try to manage it? Is Smith off on the 3, and a nice save there by Bettinger.
Yeah, you definitely want to keep it rolling. You don't want your kids to fall in love with that 3-point line because percentages tend to go down. But you know, I would just keep feeding Bettinger as much as you can.
Chudi for 3, and that's a 3-point game.
I'll tell you, the response after that, up to 7. He's starting to find his rhythm here.
Yeah, you don't want him to get into a rhythm for sure. He'll cause you some fits.
And a fun matchup here. The 2 best players on the floor against each other. Coach Workman wanted the foul on the screen, didn't get it. Bettinger sends it back up top to DeLange. DeLange on the drive and the finish.
Nice reach there by DeLange, working around Workman.
Crafty left-handed player. It's hard to guard lefties because you're so used to guarding guys that like to go, or that you like to force left, so it's an advantage to have a good crafty left-handed player.
Drop inside Anosike. Chudi, jump hook blocked by Bettinger. And Smith will back things out. DeLange now goes against Workman. And Smith cut off by Anosike. A little more deliberate set here for Woods Cross as Bettinger gets inside and it crawls off. A couple of shots that were falling in the first quarter off here early part of the second.
Yeah, let's see if Murray can take advantage of a few missed shots. Probably run a set here for Chudi, keep him rolling.
Look inside to Davies. He and Hogan's gonna be a fun matchup the rest of the night. They both can stay out of foul trouble. As Anosike cut off by Bettinger, hands back to Alclair. Anosike in the lane.
I try to be the mediator. I did not love that one. I thought the player was falling over before there's contact. I have a different angle than the baseline official. He's behind it, right? So that's tough for him to see, but from our angle, that's a tough one.
You teach second basemen and shortstops around grounders because if you watch a ground ball come right at you, you actually don't have the depth perception on it. That's why you don't call it.
I agree, that's a tough one.
But they have a tough job. And I just get to talk about it.
No question.
Oh, man. I guess their coach knows it. And Zach DeLange again getting inside.
Yeah, if Woods Cross can find that third scorer and someone like DeLange, that's humongous for them in this game. Because you figure Mason and Jackson are going to get their own.
Inside DeLange again. Lays it in. Is it DeLange, not DeLange? Okay.
I was told DeLange.
Okay, we'll go DeLange.
We'll go with that then.
Dan Barney's always very, very good. Well, that's not Dan, actually. Big guy. As Workman comes off the screen. Has back Chudi for 3. And on the run now, DeLange again. He's got 8. 6 in the second. DeLange, thinks he is Joe Ingles. Couldn't get that one to go. It'll be out of bounds of Murray basketball.
That was a good move. Just got to get that layup in, get the finish.
And a great heads-up play. Zach Earl. What a play by Earl. Woods Cross, it was a 3-point game at 19 16, if I remember right. A 6-0 run.
Little Gonzaga offense here.
And now the foul to Workman. What's that set?
Typically a ball side with 2 guys, try to play a 2-on-2 game with 3 guys on the weak side and keep working it till you can get a high-low or something off a ball screen.
We got a full timeout on the floor, 3:44 left in the half. Woods Cross making a push. 3:44 left in the half and a 9-point lead for Woods Cross.
See if they run a set here for Mason. Maybe get Chudi a second.
Inside to Hogan. Davies with the flyby, and Hogan lays it in. The big guys had to work down low. It's nice to give him a piece.
Yeah, that was a good slip play.
Seen a lot of the games that I've done, Hogan's had kind of the night that Delane has had, and where he's been kind of that third scorer for them in the block and the post, and I love that screen and setting Nick free.
It's probably different a little bit for Davies to having to play a little more on the perimeter and work and guard guys cutting to the basket instead of just being able to stay low and get his block shots.
And Murray still trying to find some rhythm, the way they can shoot it. This game's not over. Davies sends out to Workman, back inside. Davies goes at Hogan, nice contest. They allowed a lot of contact this whole week, and nice finisher by Davies.
Yeah, another great off 2 feet, stayed on balance, nice little right-hand hook.
I love Hogan's defense on the lead. He's right there, doesn't foul him. Great job.
Yeah, Murray.
Go ahead. Chudi pops that one out of bounds.
Murray's got to find a way to get this tempo up. They're not comfortable playing at this speed, I don't think, so might see a little pressure coming a little bit more from the Spartans.
And if you've got a pressure team, kind of want it to come naturally, or do you everyone say, hey, all right, we got to generate it?
I think sometimes you got to generate it, especially at a tempo like this. You're going to have to, do something a little bit different, or Woods Cross is just going to kind of play like that and hit a bunch of shots.
Got him off balance, and Dane told us on Monday he just loved Jackson Smith. The kid got a high ceiling. That is 3 threes, Dane. He's lighting him up.
And that's one where I don't want to say an easy 3, but very little work to get that shot. And if you're able to shake the defense like that, it could be a real long night.
On the drive, Anosike gets to the rim and finishes. Chudi now with 9 points. Smith.
Much better defense there by Christmas.
Yes, he wasn't going to fall for it. Bettinger misses that.
Murray's got a pusher right here. Play at your tempo.
Another reason to get the rebound, right? As Workman bring it up.
I'll tell you one of the other elements here. Jackson Workman can shoot it from the outside, but you get a longer guard like Smith on him, and now all of a sudden you don't have that same amount of space. See if they can try to free him up as this game goes on.
Chudi got him off his feet, and the bucket. No call on the contact.
They were seeking it.
Absolutely.
That was nice.
Well, the official, that's the first time I've seen it. Hey, no, we're playing. Play on.
See right there, if you're going to call a charge on the one before, that's got to be a block. It affected the shot.
Yep. And he was outside the lane, so it's where I'm like, but yeah, got to be something there.
Dusty and I had the argument yesterday that that's still going to happen. He was like, no, it won't. Yes, it will,
But
Dusty.
he'd be further out, though, as that ball goes in. The first bounce and went the way of the Spartans of the first half, and it's a 6-point game.
Yeah, this is a big possession right here. This is a momentum play. If Murray can keep it a 6-point game or steal one and get one to get it down to 4 or 3, it'd be huge going into halftime.
Next year, we're playing 2 for 1.
You always hear that, Coach, but as a coach, how big really is it? How much do you leverage that when you have these late bursts in a half?
Oh, I think it's huge. We talk about it all the time about momentum and how important end-of-quarter stops are, end-of-quarter scores are.
30-second timeout, and a nice push from Murray. And again, this is getting double digits, and that's why I said, hey, the way they can shoot it won't be over. I wasn't thinking it was over, but when you get down, they hadn't found the rhythm, all of a sudden it's going. What is it like in the momentum in this huddle right now for the Spartans, Coach Workman?
It just your kids just have a little bit more focus. Momentum's a huge thing as far as just body language and getting guys excited. And you can look up at the scoreboard and you were once down 9-11 and now you're only down 6. You get a stop right here. It changes your whole halftime talk. It changes the body language of your kids in halftime. So this is big for Woods Cross too. If they can hit a shot right here, you'll definitely see the body language of both teams completely change.
You know, Coach, one of the other things that maybe isn't appreciated when you get to semis and championships, you have TV timeouts. How much does that help, or how much does that change kind of how you manage your sideline or your huddle, your communication?
Definitely affects it, having more timeouts and longer timeouts. You just got to keep your kids focused and keep them involved in the game because, they definitely know the TV's on for sure.
Even a longer halftime, right? You can take the jersey off, give them a wash, take a mid-game shower, 2 oranges instead of 1.
Hey, we heard from Matt.
Yeah, I mean, you get the extra juice box too, so it's just a huge big deal.
Just no orange slices at halftime. That's a post-game earned thing. Inside to Hogan. Davies got the block. 5 seconds.
Oh, this is big.
Crispin off the mark. All kinds of momentum was flying in with that ball. We go to halftime. We got a good one. It was Woods Cross 30, Murray 24. You're watching the 2022 5A semifinals on KSLSports.com. Commentary brought to you by Game Night Live Rewind. Start of the second half, Dusty Litster, Dane Stewart, and Coach Casey Walkenhurst. Coach, the way that goes, first I'll give us perspective of Murray. Got a lot of momentum before the end of the half. What are you trying to carry here in the start of the third?
I think this first 4 minutes of this third quarter is going to be huge. If they can get this closer to tied, make it a close game into the fourth, it's going to be huge for them. They can't let the Wildcats go on a run right here.
The incredible thing about Murray is they only had one player who made more than 1 field goal in the first half. That was Chudi. They have not established great balance in the scoring column tonight. That's been kind of their MO all year. So we'll see, Coach, to your point, if they can get other guys going here.
Trammell forced into a tough attempt on that layup. And down the floor with Woods Cross. And, man, I don't know that you can say what went wrong because so much went well. How do you build off of things going so well? Remind your guys, hey, you got to stay sharp and not fall in love with easy shots.
Yeah, you just got to, you've gotten this far doing what you do and what you practice, so the Wildcats just got to keep doing what they're doing.
Let's talk about staying with it. Alex Bray gets swatted by Davies. He lives to tell the tale, Dane.
Yeah, it's a great job of sticking with it. Look, we have great help in some of our statistics here. They did not credit Bowen Davies with a block in the first half. I know there was at least 1.
Yeah.
Maybe 2. I'm going to give him 3 in the contest. There's no block in that shot.
Mason.
Yeah, I know Davies had one to end the second quarter for sure.
Bettinger had that lay-in, a 3 off the mark from Devontae Hooks. And all that hard work that was put in right before the end of the half has been erased by the start for Woods Cross. Back up 10, looking to get up 12-13.
Yeah, this is danger time for the Spartans right here.
On the angle of Bettinger. Back up top to Jackson Smith. Double high screen, gonna drop back in. Bray, give it back to Hogan, blocked away by Davies. Hogan stays with it. Davies has 2 blocks and it ends up in 2 field goals for Woods Cross.
Yeah, Woods Cross is big. It's just working hard, taking that block and taking advantage of it, getting the ball right back up to the basket.
A little mix up there, back outside. Chudi for 3, back rimmed.
3 straight possessions of Murray, no baskets. A couple of quick threes.
1 and dones, and now possession with Woods Cross.
The amazing thing is Murray shot 9 of 17 from the floor in the first half. They were over 50%. It doesn't feel that way.
Yeah, it definitely feels more of a grind.
Delaying now with 10. And how about Woods Cross? Efficiency personified to start the area. Turnover, and now a timeout from Coach Workman. What a way to come out of the locker room for Woods Cross, Dane.
Yeah, look, there's some forces more powerful than teams, and when Dane Stewart sets streaks, by gum, they just won't end.
He believes in streaks, not just in his shorts. 14-point lead for Woods Cross. We'll be right back. Out of the timeout, it is all Woods Cross with Dusty Litster, Dane Stewart, and Coach Casey Walkenhurst. As Smith has that one stripped away, picked up and on the run now with Trammell. Trammell draws the foul, and then will be on the floor.
I was thinking on that last possession, we really haven't seen a lot of penetration outside of Chudi. So can you get Trammell going? Even Devontae Hooks, Dusty, he hasn't shot. Remember, he had some really good shooting games, second round and quarterfinal, as Hooks here going to come off the floor. But just the support for Murray, guys that have stepped up all year just have not been.
First time today, Deshaun Bowie coming on the floor. Inside, or it goes into Workman. Jackson off the screen from Davies. And Bowie right off the bench. Can't get that one to go. And the rebound tracked down by Woods Cross.
Lisa got the ball inside that time, got a good look, just didn't go down.
And of course, Woods Cross being helped by a Spartan legend. I think I got a name hanging in the rafters as DeLange pulls for three. Can't get it. We'll get that story here in a second if you want to hit it.
Yeah, Jeff Johnson, the legend of Murray High School. Brother of Britton Johnson, is an assistant coach for the Wildcats and has a son that's going to go through the program at Woods Cross, but he's definitely got a soft heart for the Spartans tonight, but I'm sure he's definitely 100% for the Wildcats. But Bowen Davies is also a nephew of his, so it's kind of a win-win for him. If the Wildcats get it done, great. If Murray comes back, at least his nephew gets to play for a state championship.
It'd be a great accomplishment. The only problem is you got to play Olympus.
And they are dang good.
That is like hitting Murray in the 4A championship back in the day. And a three from Mason Benninger. He is 3 of 4, if I recall.
He was 2 of 4 in the first half, so 3 of 5.
Man, 3 of 5. So I just keep track of makes.
14 points for Mason.
No, this is just a 6-point game to start the third quarter, ballooning to a 17-point lead for Woods Cross.
Coach, we talked a little bit. You coached at Woods Cross High School. What's it like to see this program continue to be one of the top programs in 5A, even after you left, knowing you had a part in kind of help build that and sustain that?
I think it's so great. Woods Cross was a hard school to leave. There was very few schools that I ever thought I'd leave Woods Cross to go to, and Farmington is a great opportunity, but Woods Cross is a great community, a great school with obviously a lot of talent, and this, won't be the last time Woods Cross continues to be a team that's making the Final Four in 5A year after year.
We would go through the history of Woods Cross, and I feel like it started, the turn that leads to Casey Walker having a good program was Holton Hunsaker. Holton Hunsaker was the first pillar guy at Woods Cross that turned it. It was when he was a freshman, for heaven's sakes. I remember doing that state tournament, first round game with Hunsaker and Day, and some of those names kind of escaped me. And then Holton was that guy that kind of was that tent pole. It was like, hey, Woods Cross is a basketball school.
Absolutely. I actually talk to Holton quite often each year, and he loves his Woods Cross ties, and he was definitely a big benchmark. It took years and years. Woods Cross was really good in the 1970s, 80s, and Holton kind of brought Woods Cross back on the map. And then you get kids like Trevin Nell, who's playing at BYU, that I had the privilege of coaching. He was kind of the next, and Mason Benninger might be the next Division I type player that comes out of Woods Cross.
I don't know, Coach, how much have you tracked Woods Cross since you've left? I mean, one of the things that stands out to me is you talked about, kind of Margette's and seeing them over the summer and just kind of the change of the culture. But what do you see so much different about this program now compared to recent years?
Well, luckily we were in the same region for the last 2 years before we got moved to 6A, and it's a standard of excellence that they've had there. Jeff Jorgensen kept it going, and Josh being a young 25-year-old first-year coach, he's got them rolling. And what a phenomenal job for such a young guy, and they definitely hired a good one at Woods Cross to keep it rolling there.
The only mistake made is the St. Mary's kind of look to their uniforms. That's the only thing.
Yeah, definitely. When I was there, we definitely went more to a Arizona Wildcats look, but more power to him.
I do love the cat short, by the way. That's still one of my favorite is the vertical cats on the short. So A+, Coach.
Thank you. Yeah, that was funny story there. When we first got those uniforms, when Trevin Nell was a senior, it actually said Wildcats on them. They didn't have a D. So we actually wore them the entire season. We got the ones with the actual D on them for the state tournament, and we said, we're the Wildcats this year, so we kept them.
Those have to be framed somewhere, please.
Luckily, each senior got to take theirs home, but I have a couple pairs still at home, so they'll be framed one year.
I got a guy who'll help you out. On the run, Chudi Anosike. As Murray, a tough start to this second half, and
yeah, it's a 14-1 start to the third quarter here.
It was 30-24, and we went to the break. And I don't know, they have how many single-digit quarters they've had as Chudi Anosike knocks down the three.
Surprised to see Murray not picking up more pressure, getting in the full court, getting this game to a little bit more of a scramble. So could be maybe a fourth quarter decision coming up.
Oh, nice find inside to Hogan, and he's fouled by Bowie. And up at Hogan at the line, and Hogan just got that look. You got to have that one guy that's willing to take. I mean, Charles Oakley type. Hey, I'll take all the hit. Gets fouled, and that's what he loved. You just tell he welcomes it.
Yep. Hogan is definitely your grinder kid. Not a ton of skill, but gets it done. And that's Woods Cross ran that slip play 3 times and got into the foul line twice and scored on 1.
And splits the pair, and Anosike with the board, and now the run out. Chudi kind of back down delay, and hey, the double came, and a great hands by Bray. Force a turnover, and Woods Cross going a little Murray styles. That won't go. Board to Hogan and bucket. If it can go right, it is going right in the third quarter.
Hogan up to 10, Delane up to 10, Smith 9, Bettinger 16. It's a team effort today for the Cats.
45 seconds left in the third. Tip by Delang. Chudi couldn't get to that one. Ball still loose. Bowie sends to the quarter. Workman lifts out the 3 and a rebound to Bray. Bettinger for 3. Online but back rim. Christman. Online but short. And Davies will come back on with 14.5 seconds to go.
This is a Murray team 35% beyond the arc. Much better than Murray according to stats reported, and yet tonight it's been inverse.
Hogan's so into getting with all his guys that he's still on the floor. Jeff Johnson, get off the bench. That ball goes out of bounds. And that'll do it for the third quarter. What a third quarter from Woods Cross. Offensively, 17 points. They give up 4 points in the third. We go to the fourth quarter. The winner go take on Olympus. You're watching the 2022 5A semifinals. Start of the fourth quarter. And man, that third quarter couldn't go any better. That could not go any better, Casey.
No, Woods Cross was dialed in. They kept the tempo the way they want it. They're efficient offensively. Murray's got to go on a quick run right here to get this interesting.
And Dane for the Murray Spartans, I mean, that's a quarter unlike maybe any quarter of the season. Only 4 points as Delane gets that one to go.
Yeah, certainly not something they've been accustomed to. I mean, I was quickly looking. Some of those Olympus games were tough for Murray. They had some big fourth quarters to try to make those respectable, but it was about this pace against Olympus for the Murray Spartans, or about this pace against Olympus for Murray. And so it certainly has not been the tradition, but they have had some that have just been tough nights. It's been that way tonight for Murray, and a lot of these players young coming back. Bowen Davies, one of the few seniors, but it has just been a clinic tonight by Woods Cross.
Bettinger can get that one to go, and now on the run with Murray. That ball's loose. Chudi finally gives it up to Davies. Send back out. Trammell. Alclair on the drive to the rim. Nice take and make. It'll be Drake Alclair going to the line for +1. Dane used the phrase we've used all week long, a young roster. You just got done coaching the highest recruited player in the history of the state of Utah, which includes a state that had Frank Jackson, but Frank shut it down, so he got a call from Mike Krzyzewski. No offers came. But, man, this is a young state. 2024, 2025 is going to be really, really talented.
Absolutely. There is young talent all over the state. In Region 1, in particular, just so I know the kids a little bit more, Fremont's got a great sophomore coming up. Layton's got a couple great sophomores. I think Harriman's loaded in a couple of years. 2024 6A especially, I think, could be an incredible class of basketball.
We had another Region 1 coach with us on earlier tonight. I'm going to ask you, and I guess you don't have the tradition, but obviously as a basketball fan, how weird is it to not have a Region 1 team in a 6A semi this year? I mean, the upper classification, it feels like there's always been a Davis, a Layton, someone to make that push, Fremont, and to have it not be there, I feel out of place.
Yeah, it's weird. We were hoping Syracuse would get it done to keep the Region 1 tradition alive going to the semis, but give credit to Region 4, and they took care of business to get all 4 teams in the semis, but I don't think it'll be too much longer. You'll see hopefully Farmington and some Davis and Laytons and Fremonts in the semis here coming up in the next few years.
And I keep telling Dane we have to pay attention to Region 1, and he just won't do it.
Region 1 will be back.
I know, I'm having to just not talk this year and let Dusty just live the Region 4 life. But next year, Dusty, he's got my back.
And it's a 15-point game as Davies has it. And Region 4 is not going away. All those teams are young, too. I mean, Brody Kozlowski and
Lone Peak has some young guys.
Yeah. Well, Lone Peak's got Ike Staley and Chamberlain Burgess as that ball goes out of bounds. By the way, got to correct this, too. Chamberlain is the nephew of Chris Burgess. He just looks like him, for heaven's sakes. He's got the wingspan of Andre Kirilenko, for heaven's sakes.
Yeah, Lone Peak they'll be back. This was maybe an anomaly year for them, and it'll just make Region 4 even that much more difficult when they're back.
Yeah,
even when you make a mistake, you're still able to get the basketball. Yeah. It's just, some nights it's your night.
Sometimes to win a state championship, you got to get lucky, have the right bounces, and got to have some talent. And number 24 there for Woods Cross has a lot of it.
Bettinger, even in that third quarter, didn't have to go off. He's at 18 points, 3 boards. There's Chudi Anosike. He's got 14. And now 17.
Three-point basket, Chudi Anosike.
And a timeout taken by Coach Marquette's. And it's a full timeout. We'll take it with him. 5:25 left in the fourth quarter. You're watching the 2022 5A semifinals.
Full timeout.
Sunderland, kind of.
It's out of the timeout. Murray trying to force some tempo. Delaying, giving that one up. Hogan welcomes the contact and finishes it. And I'm guessing Papa Hogan is the one flexing at the moment.
This is the best I've ever seen him play. He is confident, and he is a banger, and he is taking it to Murray right now.
And he looks like a St. Mary Gale, for heaven's sake.
I feel like he played this way against Northwood, which was very physical, wasn't going to take guff, kind of had some fouls that I know that he probably contested, but I just love, he's a no get up, no nonsense kind of guy. There's 6 days since there's been sense. He's a no nonsense kind of player.
To DeGuerra, he runs a no nonsense office with Coach Marquette's, yes.
That's an office reference. I want to make that clear. He's got a lot of sense about it.
And a put back by Bray.
Woods Cross is getting a lot of those garbage points, offensive rebound putbacks, just working hard.
Chudi Anosike, and he's now got 21. Yeah, Smith was worried about being backcourt. And he established himself in the front court, had to come back to get that one.
Yeah, another one of those tough calls for the officials. I'm a little surprised. Murray should have gone to this full court pressure probably a little earlier. Might still work out for him. We'll see.
Into the corner, Trammell can't get the momentum-seeking three. Would have made it very interesting had that gone down. Murray retreats, and we'll see Woods Cross probably start eating up some clock here as the rules allow.
It'll be interesting to see if the high school activities will change the 5-second rule as well through the years, since college has kind of gone to that with the shot clock.
Won't go. Loose ball taken by Bray. You can see how unselfish DeLange was, and heady. Understand the situation.
Yep, time and score. It's important to know what's going on.
You guys ready for a fun fact?
I love fun facts.
Our total points today, we are at 96. 94 of those are on the floor right now.
Murray foul number 14, Jackson Workman.
That's a great fact. Who's the lone 2-point scorer?
I don't know. I don't go that deep.
Timeout on the floor.
I do easy math.
We'll be right back. 3:05 left in the fourth. .05 left in the fourth quarter.
You got questions, I got answers. Quentin Crispin, the player on the floor who has the duo that is not on the floor.
That's right, because we got our shout out to James Walljasper after that bucket. Back to his free throws.
No, it was a field goal.
Dang it. Clean that up for the stream.
That's going down in history, Dustin.
Yeah. Well, lucky you never had that issue.
Coach,
Not
let me
on
ask you
purpose.
this question.
Is Hogan blocked away by Davies?
You know, an interesting experience for you. Obviously, former head coach at Woods Cross. You go to Farmington, you've got to build a program from scratch, right? You don't have uniforms. You have a color scheme, but your architect doesn't even, adhere to it. What is it like to build a program? What have been some of the challenges that maybe have surprised you, or some of the things that, just experience you've had?
First of all, Farmington has no yellow in their school colors, if anybody has that question. But I think it's the hardest part of just building a tradition. You got kids coming from two different schools usually with their own things and
their own tradition.
And turning it into your own. I think that's been probably the most challenging thing for Farmington being a new school, and I'm sure Mountain Ridge felt the same way when they opened. But it's also really exciting to be the first to start those traditions, it's been a really fun ride being the first 4 years of the school, and Farmington's going to be a school to be reckoned with for a long time, I hope, in every sport.
And I missed your resume, right? I said that the last three coaches of Woods Cross have each made and a timeout granted. That was an interesting moment. But the last three coaches of Woods Cross have made the semifinals. You've made two. Last time we were here, that's when we got introduced, really. The state got introduced to Colin Chandler. Talk about that experience. I know we went through the Woods Cross one, but last time in this building, does that bring back those memories? That game against Timpview was a blast.
Yeah. Our second year, we made it to the semifinals, Colin Chandler's sophomore year, and unfortunately lost on a buzzer beater to Timpview in this building, which brings back nightmares for me. I'll never forget that shot bouncing 9 times on the rim until it fell through for Santiago. Great player, but and then last year being able to play at Solid Community College in another semifinal and got to the state championship and had a chance for the world to see Colin and the rest of our guys. And I sure miss coaching in a semifinal, and it's been a blast being up here with you guys, but I would much rather be down there on the floor coaching my guys. No offense to you guys.
Well, no offense to having you with us. We'd
Well,
rather have you there
I'm a little
too.
offended. We try to be fun, but whatever, Coach.
But I pray for other people's success.
My anxiety and stress levels are much lower up here, though, I can tell you that.
It's a great view, isn't it? You get stats at half. I mean, this is just like cake.
Oh, yes. I mean, I'm the greatest coach in the world from up here. I can do whatever I want, but down there it gets a little bit more anxiety.
I got to tell Coach Watkins at Copper Hills, a little breaking news. He might not get Brian Alfrey back. I think Brian's trying to figure out how do we get Brian on a team full time.
Let me tell you the best.
His agent's been reaching out.
Let me tell you the best part about being up here. you don't have roster limitations. It's really easy to be like, I'd shoot a 3. It doesn't matter that you can just create whatever you want in a fantasy roster. Well, I would just triple team Chudi. This isn't that hard.
Yeah, and you never lose up here either.
Exactly.
No, you're batting 1,000 every time.
Even with missed names, I didn't stop anything. And on top of that, you also get to go in their mind and tell a player why they did what they did and what they were thinking in the moment. That is probably my favorite part of the job. See right there, Workman was totally thinking he had a shot at that ball, and then in the middle he's like, maybe not, I'll just foul him.
Yeah, the psychology of the game from up here is way different, you know? It's just a little easier.
For those who aren't in the stadium, they actually broadcast across the screen. It's in like subtitles. He was thinking, we just read it.
So the line goes delaying, and I mean, one of the great pieces you got was from Jeff Johnson. He said, hey, this kid's going to be a key. And it's not, the score at 14 points now, but in those critical moments, I mean, delaying that third quarter was spectacular.
Yeah, every team needs a guy that may or may not be the star or the leading scorer, but a guy that can step up in big moments, and DeLange's been exactly that, getting to the rim, using that little lefty scooper he's got.
There's Chudi Anosike. This could be, the future of this classification as Davies gets that one to crawl home. Bunch of young guys on the floor, another 30-second timeout that we'll stay here with this. And we talked about it earlier, how young all these teams are, which is just a blast. And for you being young where you are, what's it like when you Viewmont, Davis, you got traditions of people. I mean, for heaven's sakes, the school that their parents probably went to, the slogan of the school is defend the tradition. So, yeah, so young. What's that like? I mean, we're not talking about going recruiting, but trying to do that as well.
Yeah, especially in that community, it's a lot of my grandpa, my dad, my mom all went to Davis High, and when Farmington was built, you could kind of still sense I want my kids to go to Davis because I did, but I think we're building something pretty big at Farmington, and we're starting to get a lot more of those fence sitters choosing Farmington instead of going to Davis, even though they are in the Farmington boundary.
The secret weapon, just send Dan Coates into their house and have him just stand at the door.
He will become a bouncer if we need to, for sure.
I'll tell you the other thing you have at Farmington, and look, I like the Davis gym, but the facilities at Farmington are unreal, A+.
Yeah, we definitely can't complain about our facilities, and I'm not saying anything bad about Davis, but it's hard to see in that gym, and I don't know how they shoot so well in that dark gym, but Chad's got those guys rolling up there, and we're just trying to build what we're trying to do at Farmington and have a much lighter gym, that's for sure.
The hard part is there's a 4-way scoreboard, so that's hard to compete with.
Yeah, we do have that. It's really nice.
But it must be the same lighting because Northridge is eerily similar, and it's the exact same gym.
Well, my thing is there's like 5 gyms at Farmington. I went there the first time. I'm looking through glass. I'm like, there's another gym. My goodness.
Unfortunately, we only have 2, and I wish we had 5 so we could put our drill team somewhere. But you got to go to schools like Sky Ridge and Corner Canyon to have 3, 4 gyms. So good for them.
Yeah, and we give you that opportunity because we'll have Chad Sims on tomorrow as Davies comes off the floor. And again, these are all underclassmen really out there from Murray. Not a lot of seniors.
Well, Davies is a
senior. So senior for Davies will be his last run and a great run.
Yeah,
for Davies.
One of the top rebounders, one of the top shot blockers in 5A, and I really felt like, man, this was the year for Murray because of him. He brought them in the paint. They're still going to be tough next year, but it's hard to replace a guy like Davies. And you think about the Springville game and their quarterfinal game, he was just so active defensively and on the glass. And look, it's tough tonight. Hogan came in, was great. Obviously, Bettinger didn't miss, and so you didn't have a lot of opportunities for clears, and it was just hard to get in that rhythm for him. But his career coming to a close, a multi-year starter for Coach Workman, and he's going to leave with a lot of legacy being established here at Murray High School.
Yeah, absolutely true. And Coach Workman has been there twice now for long terms. Is the take by Trammell, no. Bowie able to go up and get that board. Hogan still contesting, and man, curl hair was Anderson Verjao was pulling away that board, but it's going to be the day of the Wildcats. They're on their way to the state championship game. Long time coming.
Yeah.
They punched a ticket. They'll take on Olympus.
It's been since the 1970s since the Wildcats have been in a state championship game, so I'm super happy and excited for Coach Margits and his kids. And 5A state championship is going to be a great game. Olympus, Woods Cross, two teams that used to be in the same region, have some ties with the two programs. I'm excited to watch that game for sure.
Dan, your final thoughts on what we saw tonight, a selection of a player, out of an associates player of the game.
Look, I thought Murray was going to get in their tempo. They did against Springville. We've seen them do it before. And, man, Woods Cross was having none of it. Player of the game for me, Bente Cuatro. Mason Bettinger, that guy was unreal early. He had some critical threes. His shooting percentage was great. And I thought he really set the tone early for this Woods Cross offense. DeLang and company helped fill in, but Bettinger's start was the difference in my mind for Woods Cross.
A 40-year drought comes to a close, and it'll be Saturday. Woods Cross versus Olympus, as Woods Cross knocks off Murray 59-47. A big night for Mason Bettinger, our Heidemann Associates player of the game. Coach Walker, thanks for joining us. Been a blast.
Absolutely. Anytime you want me back, hopefully I'm coaching in these types of games, but I would love to come back and do as many games as you'd like. And congratulations to Woods Cross and Murray for a great season, and excited for Saturday.
It's going to be an absolute blast. We'll be going to the Marriott Center on Saturday. Come back tomorrow on Friday for Thursdays tomorrow for the 6A semifinals. We'll be right here on KSLSports.com. For Vince Francis, Dane Stewart, and Coach Casey Walkenhurst, I am Dusty Lister. Thanks for joining us and for watching the 2022 5A semifinals on KSLSports.com, your home for online championships.